Mr. Ruin? Mr. Marks?
Here.
Mr. Wyckoff?
Present.
Mr. Pena?
Present.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Ms. Holmes?
Here.
Mr. Strictly? Madam Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. If you please rise for the invocation, Mr. Smith.
Father in heaven, we come tonight first giving you all glory, honor, and praise. Father God, we just thank you for this day. Father God, we ask that you bless this meeting, that everything that is said or done be according to your will and your way. Father God, we just ask that you bless everyone in this building tonight, Father God, and give us what we need. Father God, we ask it all in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. The pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hopefully everyone has received a copy of the regular meeting minutes from March 13th. May we have a motion, please, to
Make a motion to approve minutes.
It's been moved and second to approve the minutes of the March 13th meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. We'll move to petitions and communications, presentations. Mr. Baptiste.
Good evening, Board. Okay, you actually have a packet in your packet. There is some sheets that we need to actually give you some new information on, but the budget sheet is the same. So I'm going to go ahead and go over that, and I'll give you the new sheets at the time of my reporting. Okay. We're looking at an estimated, you want me to do the whole packet at first? Okay. Just give me 1 minute and I'll pass it out for you. And it'll actually, this will also include my report, okay? Look at that one, the one I'm giving to you, okay?
Take one and pass them down for you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
Proposed 2018 regular budget.
It's going to be the last couple of pages that's marked EDC proposed fiscal year 2018 budget. Let me know when everyone is at that sheet, please.
Are you referring to the package you just handed
Yes,
us?
yes,
Okay.
ma'am. It's marked EDC proposed FY 2018 budget.
It's the third page from the back of the document you just handed us.
On the back. Okay, we're proposing that we have a budget next year of $6,408,855.20. If you take a look at the salaries and benefits that is estimated, that includes a 3% increase for salaries and benefits. We've actually cut the budget back this year. We cut back on supplies and materials, your maintenance, and our contractual services. There's a couple of line items I would like for the board to look at where we estimated on development, which is under contractual services, 120-1429, 582-5901. We estimated $1.5 million for that line item, and we're going to leave that line item at the discretion of the board. If for some reason you guys feel that we should increase or decrease that line item, we can do so. Also, if you take a look at the job training program, which is 120-1429, 582-5907, we cut that down also this year to $550,000. And that's another one that the board might wish to change. They might look at it and say, well, maybe y'all can bring it down some, maybe y'all can bring it up some, just let us know. And also, the streets department, it's under capital outlay. It's 120-1429, 582-8600. We have budgeted $1.2 million in that line item. So that is another line item that the board, we actually have some things that's going on in streets, but that's another line item that you guys can look at and let us know whether or not y'all wish to increase or decrease. Again, we're looking at an estimated budget next year of $6,408,855.20. You have any questions on the proposed budget? Mr. Wyckoff? Yes. No. Is that the 1.8?
That's not. So what's driving that? That is the Jade Avenue Business Park, the infrastructure.
The infrastructure.
Any other questions, Mr. Walker? Mr. Mark?
The two items on the second page on the contractual services, development and job training programs, what were those numbers from last year that was there an increase or a decrease for those budget items?
Job training was at $750. We're dropping that down to $550.
Okay.
Development service was about $1.4 million, oh, right, 1.4 last year. And
It's an
pick it up
increase.
100,000. I think, Rachel, you need to explain how you came to these numbers, how we look back at historical data.
Okay, what I did this year was I actually took the numbers and the figures from the fiscal year 2016, and I took the trend for 2 years on our obligations that we have that are fixed. We have some things that we're obligated to, and we cannot do anything about that. So we have our utilities, of course, and we have other contractual agreements that some of them that we're in for 2 years or 3 years that we took into consideration. Each one of the line items also, some of the ladies in promotional sales have certain software and items that is annual and has been annual since I've been here, if I go back and take a look at it. So I base the numbers that I came up with based on trending it from the last 2 years on what was spent, and I started with our actual cost, our fixed cost, and then we blended in from there, made adjustments from there. Yes, sir, especially the actual line items that I did give to you with development. And these are, of course, are projected budget costs. So yes, it can come up and down, but a lot of the actual promotional sales, job training, software, those type items, they're pretty much they're going to stay steady because we know what we're obligated to on an annual basis on those line items. So I don't expect it to move too much. Not the budget, not too much, but it's possible.
Mr. Baptiste, the money that we had for the streets that we committed, the money that Mr. Wyckoff was speaking of, where's that budgeted?
Okay. I think, Rachel, you may want to do your statement of revenue so they could, there's a lot of funds. Let me if you don't mind, let me let Rachel do the statement of revenue, and I'll explain some of this.
Thank you. Let me ask, Mr. Wyckoff, you had a question before that?
Maybe she's going to bring it up. I'd like to know the trend versus prior year. What is the health of our business in the city and EDC from the sales tax standpoint? Are we trending down versus prior year, or are you projecting us to be down?
Well, this year we have to take into consideration that we're paying that 1/8% of our sales tax to the streets, to the city of Port Arthur. So, of course, our revenue for sales tax this prior year is less than it was last year. We have less to spend coming from our sales tax.
Any idea what that figure
I mean, when you look at the total sales tax, it's about 2% up. 2%. Yes, sir. But when you look at what we receive, because we have allocated a 1/8 of that money to the city, we are down.
Yes.
You know, we're about a little over $1 million less than what we got previous years.
So basically, on the proposition of the streets, all those things that were taken into consideration when we did last year when we approved these projects, right?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to trend down.
I think if you let it go through your revenue accounts, you're going to have a better picture of your financials.
And also, once we get through that, I know I have a lot of questions, but I'm just curious on the healthiness of the city of Port Arthur. Any idea what we're trending down there in particular line item? In other words, if it's goods. I'm talking directly to him.
Yeah.
Could you just let us know? I'd like to have a feel.
Like I said, sales tax is up about 2%.
Sales tax up 2%?
Yes, sir. And that's all. That's the only revenue source that we have. But because, as I said earlier, because we have allocated to the city for street maintenance and repair 1/8, we are receiving about $1.1 million less than what we did in the past.
I got one more question. Now, on the projected funds for the infrastructure for downtown, is that money in this budget that's going to roll back over, or
When you say the projected funds for the infrastructure downtown,
the funds were set aside to do downtown?
that's in this year's budget,
That's going to be in this year's budget?
and she will explain some of that to you.
Okay, good.
Okay, if you take a look at the first sheet,
Let's show them what we're talking about.
that is the
This one
Port
here.
Arthur Economic Development Corporation Statement of Revenue, Expenditures, and Changes in Fund Balance. Okay. We're looking at the revenue, and this far, we have received in sales tax revenue $1,933.72. Our revenue that is not including our sales tax is, we have loan repayment, which is, you look, it's the ITEX for Lamar State Housing. They pay $3,623.19 monthly, and they started their payments in February of this year. So we're projecting by the end of this fiscal year that we would have received $28,986 from ITEC. Also, we have rental income, and our rental income is for Port Arthur Chamber. The Chamber pays $2,455.55 a month. So we're projecting also that we'll receive $29,468 in rental income. Also in this revenue is the business park. That's the assessment fees for this year. The businesses in the business park pay $500 per acre for the land that they own. So we use those funds for upkeep of the business park. There's your lights, security. Those things kind of offset the accounts that we use to pay security out there. We're projecting land sales of 10 acres to Hennef in the business park, at $57.5 an acre. So we're projecting $575,000 for that, which totals our miscellaneous income to $2,867,894. Our current expenditures for this year is $1,816,877, which leave us an excess of revenue of expenditures before the transfers of $1,051,700. Excuse me. We have our net changes in fund balance, which is your excess over revenue of $1,051,07. Our fund balance at the beginning of the year was $9,774,56. Our fund balance projected at the end for this end of this fiscal year, we're estimating at $10,825,63. We have $4,876,258 remaining in our current year budget, and we're projecting at the end of the budget year the $5,948,805, with including the additional sales tax revenue of $1,343,351. So we're estimating at the end of the next fund year, 2018, a fund balance of $7,289,156.
Let me, Mr. Wyckoff, what Rachel just explained was when you look down where it says current year remaining budget, that's how much money you have left in this year's budget to spend. We are not going to spend all that money.
Right.
I can tell you. The street money, a lot of this other stuff, we're not going to spend it in the next 5 months. So the $7.3 million that you have, that's going to increase. And I would project it's going to increase to about $8 million that you have in the bank. And I'm saying about $800,000 to $1 million. You won't spend out that $4.8 million. You follow me? So your fund balance would be about $8 million, a little over $8 million. And we projecting additional sales tax in the amount of $1.3 million. When you look at the 1.3 and what we have received, it's only 3.2 million compared to what we used to get, 4.5, 4.6. You follow me? So our revenue is down, but sales tax is about 2% up. That makes sense? Yeah, it does.
There's any more questions?
Question. The excess revenue, what we do with that money?
It falls back into your fund balance at the end of the year.
And I have a question about the streets. You say that we have allocated 1/8, correct? So there's no other monies going to the streets.
Currently, in this year's budget, you have money allocated, and correct me if I'm wrong, Guy, a project has to be named by September, and that has not been done, so I kind of ignore, a lot of that money going to fall back into your fund balance, because they don't have a project. The money that we had allocated about $1 million for city infrastructure, but the city have not come up with a project. And I know why they haven't come up with a project, because they can't just use the million. They have, when we have a project, it has to be totally funded. They don't have the money to totally fund nothing. So that money going to come back into your fund balance. That's why I'm saying your fund balance probably will be $8-point-something million.
Is there any possibility that the city will come up with a project prior to September?
I cannot see that happening, sir. And the reason why I'm saying this, Commissioner, is to get our money, they must have a complete project. So they have to have, to do something around here is $2-3 million. They need $2 million to get our million.
They got to come up with some money.
They got to come up with the money.
Yeah, the city ain't doing that.
And that's addition to the 1/8.
That's separate.
That's separate,
That's
right?
totally
That's separate. That 1/8 actually goes directly to the city.
Right.
Currently, Rachel, what was it, 642,000? This year, if you look at what Rachel gave you, your sales taxes, 1,933,000. $642,000 in addition have gone to the city. So you should have about $2.5 million in sales tax collection, but 600,000 have gone to the city.
And that 1/8 is based on the sales tax, correct?
Yes.
1/8 of your sales tax, right?
Okay.
I would say it's a pity that the city won't be able to use those funds to work on something that we so dearly have been wanting to happen. So I don't know what happened over the year, but that's disappointing to see that not to be done.
Mr. Wyckoff, I hear what you're saying, but you know, sometimes things happen the way you want it to happen.
Any other questions?
True statement.
Are there any other questions? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
We'll move on to communications. Mr. Baptiste? You-
In your package, there's a small business award banquet, and I think they have provided you guys with a request form. Guy, that's pretty great, but we have always supported SBDC. You good with that one?
Yes, sir.
I'm good with it. It's up to this board how you guys want to, if you want a table of 8 or individual, however you guys, but it is an eligible
I
project.
don't know. Would you? It's this is the document. It's the third piece of paper or group of papers in your packet. In the center of it, it has name of requester, Lamar State College, Port Arthur Small Business Development Center. And we've supported this in the past.
Yes, ma'am. We normally go individuals, but if you guys want a table, whatever, but we normally don't have 8 people going, so those who want to go, we certainly would encourage all of you guys to go, but if not, we pay for individual or table, whatever you guys desire.
Any recommendations from the board?
I move that we go individual and let the people that want to go make arrangements with Joni to do so.
Second.
Everybody agree with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I don't know, do we need a motion on
No,
that?
we don't.
Okay.
We
All
don't.
right. Thank
We
you.
don't.
Second communication, Mr. Baptiste?
Second communication is Port Arthur Educational Foundation. Looking at the requests, I think that would be pretty gray, and in my mind, and I would go over to the lawyer. I don't think it meets our criteria, guy.
Seems like a very worthy project, but really just doesn't follow into the 4A business development format that y'all are supposed to stay within.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any speakers, Mr. Baptiste, or?
No, ma'am.
We'll move on to unfinished business. There being no consent agenda items, we'll move on to non-consent agenda item number 1, to discuss for possible consideration a proposal from CTEX Construction Corporation for the installation of a projector screen on the east wall of 501 Proctor. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chairman, CTEC they are currently the contractors doing the work on the third floor. I've asked them if they could give us a bid for the installation of the projector screen on the east wall. They have submitted a bid. It's in your package for review. I think we had allocated about $50,000 for this thing over a year ago. There is an addition to this project. The addition is that there's an additional panel on the north end of the screen that will have EDC on it, and it is lighted up. That brought the cost up. So I'm asking you guys to move forward as this thing, if you guys wish to.
I want to thank Floyd today as well. We had a call, Kate and I, with Floyd and Stephanie Dugan at National Development Council. We always want to make sure that we've checked with our subject matter experts, including Mr. Hauser as our architect, to ensure that nothing we do would tilt the windmill of the important historical designation, historical tax credits that we sold, and or the new market tax credits that we initially received for the building. Stephanie assured us that there was nothing in the new market tax credits that would be impaired by the installation of the screen, nor is there any recapture against the historical tax credits that were stole, as you all know, to Apple for the improvements that were done to the building. We had asked Vince just to ensure that there wasn't any pushback as from the Texas Historical Commission. Again, we spoke to both. Both seemed to feel fine about proceeding as there would be. They didn't see any negative impact. Obviously, they said you're going to have to go through the regular process for any capital project through the city and permitting, et cetera. But as far as the tax credits or the new market tax credits, there was no concern.
Being said, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. It's been motioned and second to approve agenda item number 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 2, to discuss for possible consideration the continuation of the contract for the landscaping at the Spur 93 Business Park for 1 additional year. Mr. Baptiste.
Madam Chairman and Commissioner, I've been working with the city purchasing department's purchasing manager, and he proposed that we extend this contract for 1 additional year before going out for bid. I think all this has come up from the last time, so you want to extend it for 1 additional year at the same cost. In your package, you did receive a letter from the contractor saying that they are willing to continue the service for additional year at the same cost that they have been doing it for the last 3 years.
Satisfied with their work?
Sir?
Are you still satisfied with the
Oh,
work?
yes, sir. Very much satisfied with him.
I make a motion.
Second.
Been a motion and second to approve agenda item number 2. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 3, to discuss for possible consideration funding the Grow Port Arthur Grow America SBA loan program for an additional $125,000.
Yes, Madam Chairman and Commissioners, back in 2007, we engaged the National Development Council as a consultant. And in that process, we also enrolled in what they call the Grow America Fund. Eli and Wyckoff Guy was around. What we did, the city had a revolving loan fund, and they had lost a lot of money. And I went to the city and asked the city, well, look here, can we use that money to help small businesses that we cannot help because we are a 4A organization. And the city put in $124,000. We put in $376,000. So together, the city of Port Arthur had $500,000. NDC matched us dollar for dollar, and they matched the city dollar for dollar, which was 124, and us 375. So that means that the city now had 248,000, and we had 752,000. In the Grow America Fund, it allowed us to get 4 times what we had. So that's how you end up with the city with 992,000 and EDC with 3 million. The problem we have encountered since 2007 is it's an SBA loan. And you know, we get a lot of folks coming in here for a SBA loan that does not meet 4A criteria, but they don't meet SBA guidelines. So what we asking you guys here is for this board to assume the 124,000 that the city, because we want to keep that profile of $4 million in our SBA loan package, and then ask the city to take their money and do a microloan program, lowering the standards. We're reducing, if you read the package, we're reducing the credit score down to 600. We also asking for collateral. We're not changing all the rules. And we also are asking that, you know, it is going to be based on a 3-year note. And it's going to also be based upon the loan amount going to be based upon the revenue of the business. You know, we have in here, and this is all proposed to you guys, revenue less than or greater than, less than 20,000. The maximum loan is 15,000. Revenue that is greater than 20,000 but less than 40,000 is 20. The maximum loan they could get is 30,000. But we're having a lot of small business come in here and they don't qualify for SBA because SBA, first thing, they require you be in business at least 14 to 15 months. Most of these businesses not in SBA look at your credit score, and this credit score, a lot of these people, is below the 700 that SBA require. So we asking to free up for you guys to put up an additional $120,000 to keep our SBA portfolio at $4 million. But then go ask the city to use their money to operate a small microloan program. Make sense? Yes, sir.
Does that mean that anyone that comes to borrow for a retail establishment would have to go to the city and not come to the EDC?
We would operate that. We would just use their funds.
Okay.
It would be city funds, but we're going to manage the funds for the city. Just like we are now. You know, we could do retail, small business loan for retail, but under SBA rules. What we're doing is pulling the rules away, SBA rules, to try to open the door up a little more.
Have a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 4, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent for KLV Ventures. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chairman and board members, you guys, we have a letter of intent from KLV Venture. I think, Guy, are we settled on the, are we okay on the NAISC code?
Thank you. As we always do, we just review the NAICS code, and we also review the comptroller and the Secretary of State, the filings, and the fees are all up to date. I don't know if you wanted the applicant to discuss the sort of the outline of the business plan that may make it a little more understandable of what the business line that the applicant's in now, and what the request is for expansion.
Yeah, Madam Chairman and board, the applicant is here if you guys want to hear from him. Okay.
I want to thank everybody for coming out and showing your support, my friends and family, and as well as many of the team members of KLV Ventures. I also want to thank the board for the opportunity to come and present to you today. Just to give you a brief explanation of what KLV Ventures does, we are an intranational transportation and logistics motor carrier. We transport heavy industrial pipe, plate, and steel for construction purposes, industrial purposes, transformers for a variety of clients such as BNSF and JB Hunt, as well as FedEx. Our current model, we send about 22 flatbed trucks over the road, all over the United States to work for our clients. A brief introduction on myself. I graduated from Memorial High School in 2006. I was born and raised here in Port Arthur. My mom and dad are in the crowd. We live at 2040 Williams Avenue, Port Arthur, Texas. Finished my MBA from Lamar University and graduated also from Lamar, Port Arthur. That's a little bit about my company, a little bit about what we do, and that's on the first page. The first page of this is also, you'll see that's my original letter of intent. If you open your booklets, that is the first page, letter of intent, and that kind of outlines what my company does, and it also outlines a little bit about my education and as well as my background. Our company has grown over the years. We've employed a lot of people from Port Arthur. We've trained a lot of people from Port Arthur. Over the last years, we have had difficulty finding CDL drivers. So what my team and I did was we came together and we actually started training drivers ourselves, and we started a CDL school. We are looking to grow and form a partnership with the EDC and the city of Port Arthur. If you look on the bottom half of the letter of intent, you will see the results of the proposal that we're proposing with the EDC as well as the city of Port Arthur. Number one, we're looking to create 14 new jobs in the city of Port Arthur and hire here locally, and we're willing to stick to that commitment. These jobs will be both permanent and full-time. We will hire strictly Port Arthur residents. We're looking to provide salaries on an annual basis. Each job will average pay of $55,000 a year. The jobs in these trucks, they'll drive home every night. If we're able to get the full amount of the grant, which I'll discuss here in a few moments, we'll also be able to hire additional folks for dispatch as well as a shop manager. And that's where we get that's where we get the extra jobs from, which I'll go over shortly. We'll also be able to create a CDL driving school. If you haven't noticed, when you drive down Twin City, you'll see a sign looking to hire CDL drivers for Port Arthur. The city is looking for CDL drivers. Everybody's looking for CDL drivers out here. So that's the problem we're hoping to solve. As a result of this, we'll also have we'll also use about $10,000 a week in fuel. So you'll have sales tax that'll be going back to the city of Port Arthur. We are looking to buy all of our fuel local. All of our fuel, all of our tires, everything is looking to be purchased here local. So it's an estimated $10,000, $7,000 to $10,000 a week in fuel purchased here in the city of Port Arthur. Just a quick note on our CDL training school. Lamar Port Arthur currently program currently lasts about 12 weeks. Ours will last 6 to 8 weeks. When they graduate from school in Port Arthur, they graduate as inexperienced, and it's difficult for them to gain employment. Every single one of our graduates from school has a job when they finish. Whether we find them employment somewhere else or they come and work with our company, they have a job. And they have 10 to 36,000 miles of driving experience under their belt. Some of them are actually sitting in the crowd right now. I myself am one of the graduates. In addition to that, we're also requesting a land grant which will allow us to build a shop and a facility to train those students, a facility to drive those trucks around so they can get in there and learn what they're doing. My proposal, the request to do this, also generate $813,000 a year in payroll, which I did not mention. $813,000 a year in payroll. My request and ask to accomplish all of this is $1.1 million from the EDC. It's a partnership. My company itself will pour in about between SBA loans as well as cash upfront. We're looking to put in about $500,000 to $600,000. That'll be for clearing of land. That'll be for salaries for the first 30 days while people won't, our people who we provided services to won't be paying. We'll have to outfit those trucks and trailers. So it's truly a partnership. And also I'd like to address some ideas because I know the ask is significant. However, I'd like you all to understand that the ask here is not just asking, give me, give me, give me. It's a true partnership between the city, the EDC, and KLV Ventures. This is about putting our best foot forward. This is about bringing the community together. This is about every time I walk in somewhere and I pull up, someone's all, and they say, hey man, what do you do? I try to dress clean. Hey, what do you do? I say, oh, I got a transportation company. Well, hey, what do I need to do to work for you? Can you train me? I don't have a CDL. And right here in Port Arthur, and I love to train you. Some of them I can, some of them I can't, because I don't have the facility to do it. But I will pull anybody. And this CDL school will additionally, it won't cost anybody anything. If somebody comes in the door and they're focused and they're serious, I can teach them how to drive. It's really easy. We can teach them how to drive. We can help them with the curriculum and pass the test. We don't give them a thick book when they come in. We give them what they need to pass the test. We teach them to do it. They come in day one and they drive. And we give them a skill. I'm looking to train the citizens of our city, and I need your help to do that. Again, I don't want everybody to focus on the ask. I want everybody to focus on the result, because I know that the EDC has given funds out to companies that may not necessarily have done the right thing. But we're going to do the right thing. We're going to deliver on every single thing that we promise, and I will be held accountable for that. Lastly here, I wanted to address why SBA loan. We can work with the SBA loan, but it will be difficult to do that and still provide the benefits of a school and still have all the different things, create the 14 jobs. And I'll say that this way. For example, if we have, let's say, $600,000, and then we've got to go to the SBA to get another $400,000 or $500,000. What that creates is overhead, and we've got to pay that every month. And then what we have to do is we have to run OTR all over the United States to get the money, because that pays more. So if we have that overhead, we got to go out over the road to pay that. That's why we're running the OTR model right now. But if we're granted the full amount, then that allows us to have the trucks there. We're not paying overhead, and it allows us to take time and train the drivers here in Port Arthur, whatever it takes. We can take our time and train those drivers. But if we're forced to pay that overhead every month, that makes it very difficult and very complicated, and we may have to go back OTR, and it's not productive, and that makes it almost impossible to hire locals, because we have to get drivers out of Houston that are willing to do that kind of work. But we can, if you guys will partner with us, we can create a school that will benefit the citizens. We can employ 14 new people. We can create $813,000 a year in payroll. And those are the things that I wanted to talk to you about. And I want everyone to understand that these effects are in perpetuity. These effects are in perpetuity. So the $1.1 million invested will be returned systematically every single year. My company is going nowhere. If we're here and we're granted land and we're granted the money, the funds for the trucks, we're going to be here. We're going to train people forever. As long as I'm alive, we will train people and we will hire people in Port Arthur. That payroll won't just stop in 3 years at the conclusion of the agreement with the EDC. That payroll continues year after year after year. The property taxes continue year after year. The payroll expenditures continue year after year. And then what happens when we buy more trucks and put up our own cash? Then we get more trucks to train more students. And it's a perpetual effect. I'm asking for the EDC to partner with me. I'm asking for the EDC to partner and do this for the citizens of our city. And I'm asking that you believe in what we're trying to do and what we would like to do together and see the vision. I also want to let you all know that the facility will be accessible to any one of you at any time. Anytime. We have the support of many of the members on the city council, I believe. We have the support of the citizens in the community. I'm asking for the support of the EDC for the full amount of the grant, and I thank you for your time. And I'll be coming back on June the 5th to do should you guys decide to go forward with me, my company will be back on June the 5th to do a economic impact analysis.
Well, Mr. Vernon, thank you so very much for that presentation. Your enthusiasm excites me.
Yes, ma'am.
It really does. I mean, I am excited to see a young man stand before me and give that kind of presentation.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay. The letter of intent, the attorney was about to speak about the letter of intent. Were you?
I just wanted to say that we have two aspects of this to look at. His current business, which certainly falls within an NAICS code. For the benefit of the audience and for the benefit of the board, again, we have supported entities that provide commercial training for drivers through a job training program. We'd have to probably look at it some matter that way because, again, job training driving schools are not within one of the commercial NAICS codes that we fund. That's up in the 61-119 or 519 category. So we'd be happy to get with if the board asks us to move forward. We'd certainly look at this both sides and what programs the commercial parts the EDC could support. But again, we partner with entities that can provide that training. We don't necessarily build schools under a 4A corporation. But we're happy to look at the other elements of the program and move ahead if the board so desires to move forward.
And so today's vote really gives you all the opportunity to move forward if we so agree to look at the avenues in which we
And as you know, Mr. Baptiste has a very detailed formula-driven program based on capital investments and job creation that allows them to come forward with an estimate based on, just as the applicant has said, the amount of capital and payroll credits that can be generated, and then come up with a number to see how close to the request that he has that could be funded by the EDC. So yes, what you all would be asking us to do today is move forward with the applicant and get that more detailed information.
Could I respond to that? Can I clarify?
Today is just the opportunity for Mr. Baptiste to research and do everything he needs to do to get the foundation to move forward. And once the board votes on that, I'll make a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And we are happy to give the applicant as well that detailed flow chart of exactly how we have to work with the city to make sure that any application has followed all the steps necessary for presentation to the city for a final approval.
Right.
I have one comment.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure that I understand. The CDL part is an additional.
Yes.
That's not your main.
That's right.
That's another service that you provide.
Exactly. That's just an added bonus to what. That's all.
Right.
The CDL school is just an added bonus to the 10 trucks that would be purchased with the grant. The only thing the grant's for is to buy 10 trucks from Freightliner, and that's it. And the CDL school is just a bonus.
And I think you have several components to your project, and I think we'll look at each one of those components. Mr. Baptiste will look at each one of those components to ensure that we do the best we can if we vote yes to
Yes,
move
ma'am.
forward.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a motion to move forward.
Second that.
Letter of intent.
It's been moved and second to move forward with the letter of intent. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Byrne.
Standing.
Agenda item number 5, to discuss for possible consideration the closing of an economic incentive file between PA EDC and B&B ICE.
Yes, Madam Chairman and Board, Crystal had the obligation with her kid this afternoon, but she did leave this thing. Back in 2013, we entered into an economic conditional grant incentive with B&B ICE. We asked those folks to, we gave those guys $285,000. We asked them to produce payroll in the amount of $467,000. They have met all the conditions of the contract, and that's, we bring this thing before you guys to close this contract.
Floyd, you saying they met all the milestones and
Yes, sir.
completed everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all.
Need a motion on that?
Yes.
I'd be proud to make that motion.
Oh, question?
Yeah, I had a question. To CEO, as the client close out these contracts with us, is that a follow-up with these companies after they have met their obligation? Or are they still, my concern is still employing Port Arthur residents? Any idea the ones that have completed their obligation, are they still hiring Port Arthur? Or what is the status of that? Do we know?
Commissioner, I couldn't answer that, but I can tell you this. We established a very close relationship with all our clients. And I would think and I would hope that that relationship continues. I know it continues for long after contracts have. I still deal with a lot of my clients. They still call us for employment needs or what other needs they need. It's all about relationship.
Understood. I just want to know if
I don't have those numbers, though.
could you have
I could follow up,
Crystal
yes, sir.
do a follow-up?
Yeah, we
on
could. Yes, sir.
The ones we have closed out? I'm just,
Yes, sir.
curious. And we have done project, we invested money.
Yes, sir.
So is there still a return after they close out their contract? Or are they laying off? Are they rehiring or what?
We could do that follow-up for you,
I
sir.
appreciate it.
Okay.
There is a motion on the floor. Mr. Stickley, would you restate your motion, please?
I move we close out the contract with B&B ICE.
Is there a second? There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Number 6, to discuss for possible consideration the closing of an economic incentive file between PAEDC and BKPA Limited.
Yes, Madam Chairman and Board, back in 2013, we entered into a conditional grant with BKPA, better known as Hobby Lobby. We provided those guys with infrastructure improvements to that facility in the amount of $402,103. We have received certificates of occupancy for 4 different businesses. They have met all the conditions of their contracts, and we ask that you guys close this one.
So move.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 6. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. That is the last agenda item. We'll move on to reports, marketing and business recruitment. Renata?
Good evening. While this is loading up, I actually had a conversation today with a lady from Energy. And as you guys know, we did revamp our website a while back, and we did put a site selection tab on our website. Well, the information that we currently have will be replaced with the future, and I'm going to show you guys the future. So if you can direct your attention to the back, I'll show you what it's going to look like. It's taking a little while. It's kind of buffering. Let me see if I can pull it up through YouTube. Well, I'll just talk through it. I guess we're having some difficulties. Basically what it is, it's a site selection tool that pretty much when we have site selectors, here it goes, I'm sorry. So basically from this site, site selectors will be able to go directly to our website. Also, this particular site that we upload, they will also be able to tell if the green field or the site is certified, which is very important when site selectors are considering coming to our location or our region. This will not only be for the Port Arthur Economic Development Corporation, but it would also be for all the economic development corporations throughout the Golden Triangle area. So this is an intricate part of what we do on a day-to-day basis, and it's going to be an easy way for those people that are trying to relocate here to see what we have, whether it be the business park, whether it be a business that is vacant, a commercial site, whatever it may be. Site selectors will be able to go to our website using Esri, which is a really, really good software that can pull not only demographic, but it can pull certified sites, it can pull just pretty much anything that a site selector or consultant is looking for when they have a client that's looking to relocate to your area. So pretty much I just wanted to kind of show you guys the future, because this is the future and this is what they're going to, and this is what we'll be using here at the Port Arthur EDC. So, and that pretty much concludes my report. I don't want to take up any more of your time.
Thank you. Any questions?
Our site.
Actually, today what I submitted is the wrap will actually be our logo, and in the background I will have a picture of the port. Or we can do a picture of the green field, which is the business park. Okay. Okay.
So what she's saying,
Your mic, Mr.
Renata's saying when they're going to come to the website, they're not going to see Entergy, they're going to see Port Arthur Economic Development Corporation. But our hope, it will be our business park. So that's what we do. But all the data, all the information is the background going to be Entergy stuff. And Renata could go in there and put in a site or a building that anybody could look at all across the world. But it'd be, you know, it's Entergy site, but on our website it's going to say Port Arthur.
Will you recognize of anyone site looking for sites in this area?
Yes, I'm pretty sure with the Esri, which is new. I've actually talked with some of the representatives from Esri. It's a real high tech. I'm going to be able to find out all the information because they'll give me the statistics. I'll be able to run a statistical report. And I'm pretty sure at the ready meetings, they will also have information regarding the stats and everything.
You could have an individual call here and say they're looking for a 20,000-foot building. We could put 20,000 foot and it's going to go certain deal. And here's all the pictures, all the deals are going to come up, you know, so we could point them where they want to go. You know, in Southeast Texas, you're not going to find a lot of certified site, but, you know, site selectors look for certified site. But it's a good tool.
It's like
Great tool.
Thank you. Operational report, Mr. Baptiste.
Operational, Crystal's not here this afternoon. I think the only, other than the closeout, I know we have set up a meeting with J.Z. Russell, also with Coastal. I think Coastal is close to meeting the obligation on the contract. All our projects are doing pretty good. We have some concern with J.Z. Russell. We will be meeting with him, I think, Thursday of this week to let him know exactly where the issues are and find out what his concerns are also. Other than that, that's all I have for Crystal.
The financial report, Rachel, you have already given your financial report. Mr. Baptiste, do you have anything you want to add?
The only thing I have is, I have, when is this? May the 4th, Thursday, from 5 to 8. Olmsted going to be having an open house at the business park. It's one of the new business in the business park. So if you guys could, it's from 5 to 8. Beautiful building if y'all haven't been out there. Certainly wish you guys be in attendance. The other thing, in fact, today, Mr. Shiloh was by here from Condor. There have been, the process is going slow, but I think there have been 37 offers from Port Arthur area for the call center position. Renata, last 2 weeks, right? Last 2 weeks, I don't know if she gave you guys a copy of this, but this has been running in the Port Arthur News, trying to recruit people. If you guys know someone that would fit in this culture, please direct them to the website. You know, we're trying to maximize our effort in putting Port Arthurans to work. I don't know, it did say the salary is $11.50 an hour. It's 40-hour week, and so if y'all know of anybody, please direct them to that website, because they're going to find folks who are going to want to do it. We're just trying to get Port Arthur residents to do it. The other thing, I spoke with Ms. Ballou, I think Renata, you guys went to the finished product of that house, right? The affordable house. You and Crystal, Rachel? Yeah. But they are planning a open house for the council and you guys to go see the finished product. There's some work that needs to be done. When I say work, environmental work that's being done by HUD. And hopefully, the end of May, early part of June, they should start construction on seven new homes. But we have to wait on the environmental right now. But she haven't given me a date for the open house for the building. But listen to Renata and Rachel. They were very impressed with the work that was done over there. That's all I have.
Okay, we will move on. Let me first say thank you to all of you who have come out. Although you probably had a specific purpose, we certainly appreciate you being here at our meeting today. We don't usually have a big crowd, so we appreciate you being here. At this time, I'd like to read, we're going to move to the closed session. A closed meeting or executive session will be held pursuant to the following sections of Chapter 551 Texas Government Code. Section 551.071, to discuss with the attorney personnel pending litigation or legal advice, terms and conditions of a contract with Hayes Realtor. Section 551.072 and Section 551.074 to discuss personnel matters, the evaluation of the executive officer, and Section 551.087 Government Code to discuss incentives for commercial or industrial business prospects. The items in the executive session will be discussed and acted on in open session if there is a necessary reason to do that. This time, I'd like to close the meeting and move to executive session. Have a motion to close the meeting, please.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to close the current meeting and move to executive session.
What's going on, man?
I know. Yeah.
It turned up a little bit too much on the amplifier?
I think that's what it is.
I'm sure that's what it is. No, just turn the master volume down just a little.
Stabbing. Let me tell you what, I cannot tell you. The business school is directly across the street from Gregory Jewell. That's the old gym. It's basically a student rec center, one of two on campus. And so so none of the teams play there. But back in the day, that's where our basketball team played. And I walked across there so many nights.
Yeah,
Dark.
he was. Did he leave? It's Mr. Wyckoff. He left? Okay.
2 o'clock in the afternoon. They have this the perp in custody.
Call the meeting to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Errol Anderson, Eli Roberts, Christy Darun, Kenneth Marks, Richard Wyckoff, Warren Pena, Dallas Smith, Ingrid Holmes,
Here.
and David Stickley. You have a quorum.
Thank you. There being
Yes, no, there was no action to be taken as a result of the executive session.
There being no further action, I'd like to adjourn the meeting, the May meeting of the EDC.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Have a good month. See you next month.